Hello scrappers and planet lovers, Tin Man here with another video. So I was out yesterday doing a little bit of dumpster diving, and as you can see behind me, I was very successful. I was actually at a couple different areas. I was at a job site where there's a new build going on, so I was able to find a lot of construction materials. Another dumpster I went to was completely in a different direction, and it happens that someone must have thrown out some of their contents from the garage or their shop, and I was able to get those items too. So gonna go through some of the items that I found, talk about how to identify them, some of the prices, and more importantly, how you can help you separate and maximize your profit. So before I begin, I do also want to answer a question one of my viewers asked, and that was, Tin Man, how do you find so much material? And there are a couple different answers to that question that I have. The first one for me, honestly, is luck and timing. I was lucky that I was in the area yesterday. It looks behind me like the electricians just finished up wiring the house. They ended up throwing out all of their little pieces into the garbage. So I was able to get those before another scrapper or the dumpster was taken away and replaced with a new one. So definitely timing is a good one. Another thing is, when we talk about timing, is when you go out scrapping. The best time to go out scrapping is early in the morning on garbage day when people just put their garbage out. It's definitely going to be when you're going to see the most material. I do also go out sometimes later in the evening. Some people will put their materials out the night before garbage day. I was actually able to pick up a water cooler last week, the night before garbage day, so that was definitely a good score for me. Another thing that we address is competition. The more scrappers there are, the less material you're going to find. I know in London, Ontario right now, there are areas where you will see 4 or 5 scrappers driving around in the same area early in the morning. As well, with the prices as high as they are in terms of scrap value, you're also going to see more people out taking advantage of that high price. So those are a couple things that I find beneficial. I hope that helped. But in my opinion, like I said, sometimes with a scrapper life, you'll find a lot. Other days, you won't be successful. So sometimes it definitely goes down to luck. Gonna start over here. A lot of these materials, actually, I found in a dumpster in front of a house that these materials actually didn't belong to. This nice pile here of aluminum siding, this did not come off that house. This came from a different job. The men must have finished the job and threw these pieces into the garbage. This is aluminum siding. As you can see, aluminum, very easy to recognize. It is non-magnetic. Siding, aluminum eavesdrops, all go in the same category, and they're about 90 cents a pound. This is heavy. Together, this is about 3.6 pounds worth of aluminum. In my other video, I was actually very successful finding more siding. I actually found 33 pounds at a different dumpster. So it all adds up. As you can see, very easy to crush it down, maximize your space. But this is, as I said, aluminum siding. You do want to make sure it's free of any screws or caulking so that you get the top value for this. So this is going to go into aluminum siding. I do have 2 pieces of this. This is actually the piece or sheet that goes between the roof edges. But the thing about this is you cannot assume that this is aluminum, because if I put a magnet to it, it sticks. Aluminum is non-magnetic. This is actually tin, and this is very heavy. This is actually 5.5 pounds just by itself. I found 2 of these, and because it is tin shred, it is magnetic, I definitely want to make sure I separate it from the aluminum. If I put it together, I'm going to get penalized. So tin and shred right now are going for 10 to 13 cents a pound Canadian. That is an amazing price. It continues to stay high. Tin shred, probably the most common item you're going to find while scrapping. It's definitely everywhere. It's easy to build up weight, and it's a great time to cash in on it. So, as I said, 2 pieces of that, so not going to complain. The other thing, I do find a lot of screws. A lot of times you'll find little pieces. These are your little connectors. on the roof, some different joints. Found a couple sleeves of nails from a nail gun. And there's been times where I have actually found half a box of these. I've seen some guys at a job site forget them out in the rain. They get all rusty when they come back on Monday, and instead of using them or bringing them back, they'll throw them in the dumpster. So this is all gonna go into my steel pile with all my other screws. As you can see, screws, I do not take these to the scrapyard loose. I will put them into a container so that way they don't fall out, potentially pop a tire. And the nice thing about these, you will get steel price at a scrapyard for these. I put them all with my tin shred pile in a container. Easy to add up weight. Some of them, if they're in great condition, as you can see, a lot of these screws and nails, look at this beautiful nail here. There's nothing wrong with it. So I will keep some of them, but you definitely will add up quick with these. I have so many now that I don't use or keep all of them, but I have not had to buy screws and nails or nuts and bolts for a very long time. So definitely a great score here. You definitely want to make sure that you grab these. I also actually had some staples in there. For some reason, they were part of the job site. And usually what I do with that is I might have a magnet on me if I'm near a dumpster, if there's a lot of sawdust, because a lot of times after the framing's done, the person will go in, sweep it all in, so it'll be a nice big heap of sawdust, as you can see here. And what I'll do is usually put it in, I'll just scoop it. I might put a magnet through it, grab up all the screws if there's a lot of them. So definitely a good score. Another thing that you find at a job site that I ended up finding is some of this hose. Very easy to recognize, has a yellow covering on it. This actually goes to your gas line. And the nice thing about this is actually stainless steel. I have found spools of this collected over my time. Usually find pieces like this at each job site after the gas line has been put in. There's only about 9 ounces here, so it's not too heavy, but it definitely adds up. And the nice thing about this stuff is, if you were trying to recognize if this is stainless steel, aluminum, or steel, the first test you're going to want to do is called the magnet test. If I put a magnet to this, as you can see, it does not stick. If the magnet sticks, then it's going to definitely be steel or tin. Because the magnet doesn't stick, this is either going to be aluminum or stainless steel. The second test you want to do, and the most conclusive, is called the spark test. If I take a grinder to this and I hit this with a grinder, stainless steel will spark. If I put a magnet to it and it doesn't spark, it's going to be aluminum. So here we go. I'm going to take my grinder right here. Just going to hit it. So very simple test, very quick to figure that out. So this is stainless steel. And currently right now, stainless steel is going for about 90 cents a pound. You do want to make sure you take off this covering, and it's very easy to do. All I'm going to do is actually just take a knife, and I just kind of hit it a couple times down the side. Obviously, I'm just doing it speedily, but it just slides off. I'm just going to cut all the way down, and I will throw this into, once it's done, into my clean stainless steel pile. Okay, so again, 90 cents a pound. If it was magnetic, it's not going to be worth stainless steel price. Sometimes you'll see pots and pans that say stainless steel on them, but if you hit it with a magnet and it sticks, it is not worth stainless steel price because there's only a thin coating on it. So good stainless steel is not going to be magnetic. To tell the difference between aluminum and stainless steel, do the spark test. Aluminum is non-sparking. Which brings me to another wire that I actually found. I found these 3 pieces in that same garbage. This, as you can see, if I put it up to the camera, is metallic in color inside. This is what we call 1S wire. 1S wire is aluminum. 1S wire right now is going for $1.40 a pound in London, Ontario. You will find thicker gauges of this. It is the stuff when you go to a new subdivision, the big spool of wire that goes from the road to your meters. That is 1S wire. Obviously, it's a lot thicker, but this stuff will be used as well in the house. As you can see, In order to classify it as $1.40, you do have to strip it. This stuff I will throw through my wire stripper just to take this coating off of it. If I leave the coating on, I'm not going to get $1.40 for this. I'm probably going to get 30 cents a pound. So definitely worth your while to strip it. I have also used a knife before and just cut down that sheath. But definitely if you have a wire stripper, it goes through so very easy. Okay, so 1S wire, aluminum wire. As I said, you will find at construction sites as well. And I was able to find that. There's not much here. I think there is a pound and a half here. So it's not much, but it adds up for sure. And I do actually find sometimes the larger pieces that go to the house, you know, you might find pieces like this that are left over that will be thrown in the trash. So you definitely want to get that. As you can see behind me, I have a lot of Romex wire. And what I do with that, a lot of times if I don't get there, some of the electricians or the people that clean up the house will have it in a box and they'll just set the box in. A lot of times like this, the box or the garbage bin was just dumped. So unfortunately for me, I had to sift through it. And again, what works for me, I don't have the time to individually pull. Usually I will just grab a box and I'll slide the stuff in and sort it at home. So I do have some sawdust here and some kindling that's going to go in my fire pit. This is the wire that was actually loose. There is 3 pounds, 3 ounces here. So amazing score. This would be classified as, it's almost bare bright. There is some tarnish on some of it. So some people would say it's bare bright. Bare bright right now is going for $4.70 a pound Canadian. So an excellent price. Some of this would go for #1 price. #1 is about 5 cents less. So still a great price right there, as I said. A good score of clean copper, which is awesome. And one of my viewers asked a question, what is the difference between Bare Bright and #1? The real difference is it only pertains to wire. So there is no Bare Bright category for copper pipes. So it's only wire. The wire has to be thicker than 16 gauge, which is the thickness of the lead of a pencil, in order to be classified as #1 and Bare Bright. But the difference between #1 and Bare Bright is the look of it. Bare Bright has to be absolutely stunning, shiny, no tarnish at all, no discoloration, and it is very difficult to get Bare Bright. Like I said, this, I would even say at a scrapyard, they're probably going to give me what we call bright #1, okay? Bare Bright is almost like eye-popping shiny. So that is really the difference. Again, most of the time they will give you #1, okay? It depends on your scrapyard, and it depends on how much you have of it as well, okay? So either way, for 5 cents less, I have a great score here of copper wire. Again, $4.45 a pound. I have 3 pounds, I said, and 6 ounces, so that's great. I have as well a lot of other Romex here, different gauges, and this stuff as well, I'm definitely going to sort through and scrap and separate to maximize my profit. So if I was to take this first piece in like this, or this one, there's some great copper in here. But these would actually only be at a scrapyard called 40% copper recovery or 40% appliance wire or copper wire. And currently this would only give me $1.23 a pound. And that's because there is an outer coating. Inside, if I opened it up, there would be 3 or sometimes 2 other additional copper strands that have coating on it, as well as a clean piece of #1, which is somewhere on me. The #1 piece would obviously go into my #1 pile, but this, because it has double layer of coating, there's less copper, more plastic, so it would be 40% recovery. Very easy. The first thing in order to upgrade would be to take off the outer coating. This is garbage. This doesn't weigh that much. If I was left with this, this now has 1 coating of plastic, so this is now going from 40% copper recovery to 60% copper recovery, and this is now going to go from $1.23 a pound to $2.03 a pound. So a lot better. Same with this. It's definitely, the outer sheeting does not weigh a lot, so it's definitely easy to do. You just take a knife, It's very easy to cut the outer coating off. You just peel it off. And you also have a nice piece of clean wire in there as well that's going to go into your number 1. Okay. I also, because I have a wire stripper, I also cut this as well. I strip it right down to clean wire, and I go from $2.03 a pound to $4.45 a pound as clean aluminum, or sorry, clean copper. So it's definitely well worth your time. Romex wire, house wire, and there are different gauges. You can see it comes in different colors. The yellows, there is definitely thicker wire to this, which is great. So some great Romex wire. I've probably got another 4 or 5 pounds here that I have to go through. So once I take the coating off of that, it's probably going to give me another 3.5 pounds of copper. So a great score there that I found. The last thing I also found there was actually some Lvt wire. Lvt wire, this wire will go to, I found a little strand of this, at the rest of the roll. This stuff will go to your garage door. It might go to your furnace. As you can see, this would also be a case of 40% copper recovery because it has an outer coating. Inside there are 5 strands or 6 strands of wire. As you can see, there is nice wire in there. I will put this through my stripper once just to get the outer coating off. Depending on time, some people will strip it all. This will not go through my wire stripper, so I would have to hand sort this, but I might put it off the side and do it later. But either way, definitely taking off the outer wire, upgrading this from 40% copper recovery to 60% copper recovery is well worth your time. It's very easy to do. So Lvt wire. Sometimes you'll find Cat 5 and Cat 6. Another one I will right here. This is a lot thinner. There's strands in here. I do remove the outer coating as well, but you will find some of this as well. Sometimes it comes in blue casing, sometimes a lighter brown. But I did find both of those, and it all adds up. Now, finally, as you can see here, there is a pile. This actually came from a different dumpster. This stuff, as I said, must have been a hobbyist. I have here, nice thing, boxes of screws and anchors. Some of these aren't even open, so the ones that are not opened here, I've got some drywall anchors with screws in them. These ones I will keep, but I did find a lot of different finishing nails, a lot of different bolts. You can see some odd bolts, so things like this I will probably throw into my nail bucket and get the steel price. I got some soldering here, or solder, silver plated, or silver plata it's called. I don't have a soldering gun, but I guess I can keep this when I do. There is no real scrap value for this, so I might just keep this off to the side. If I have a friend that has a soldering gun, I actually have a coworker that does, so I might just give that person this instead of this going to the landfill. 2 interesting things that I actually have here that I want to talk about is I had a couple nice, couple cool little decor here. A Honda Civic. These are plastic, but sometimes you can actually sell these online. But some really cool pieces of copper and brass. You can see this is definitely scrappable. But the one that I really don't know about, and I would love for a fellow scrapper to tell me what this is, these are actually just plates of copper. And I asked my brother, who's an electrician, if he's ever seen this. You definitely can find thicker ones, you know, at different factories and stuff. But this is too thin to be something that you can actually use on the wall. So not sure what it is or what it's used for. As you can see, I did scratch it. It is completely copper. So I guess it might be the beginning of my silver bullions or my silver bars. Big stack. There you go. There's my stack starting right there. But love to know what this is. So if you do know, if you want to comment down below. But definitely some really nice pieces of brass, yellow brass right now. This is actually going for $3.40 a pound. And I do have a couple pieces here. It does add up. Definitely some copper clamps. You definitely want to scratch this to make sure that's copper. Okay, so if I took a file to it, sometimes things will look like copper, but as you can see there, There is a metallic underneath. So this is not actually copper. So you definitely do want to check things like this. Wire definitely is going to be, your Romex is going to be copper, but there's a good case in point where a scratch test definitely has to pay off. So there's your difference. There's a scratch test. Copper, metallic, so not copper. Okay, next thing I'm going to look, it sticks, so look at that. It's actually going to go into tin shred. So you do want to make sure you look, the pipes, the elbow joints, or whatever you call the joints, these are copper. I've already scratched them. Little pieces of plumbing. Sometimes people will keep this. So definitely some really cool random stuff. Like I said, little odds and ends of different scrap. Lots of different finishing nails. If you are not going to use them again, definitely go into your tin shred pile. And, you know, when you get these items, don't have to, you know, go out and buy them. So hope you enjoyed the video. Please comment down below, like, share, subscribe. And I'll catch you on the next one. Tin Man out.